How could I have known this moment would break everything I held dear? It was an ordinary day until I crossed the threshold of that room. The door stood slightly open, and a shiver coursed through me, unleashing a tempest of dread. Turning back lingered like a shadow, a haunting whisper in the dark. But I steeled myself, choosing to confront the unknown. But I didn't, for in that fleeting moment of clarity, I realized that nothing would ever be the same again. I was the cause, the spark that ignited the chaos, the one who watched it all unravel. Ethan felt the walls closing in, suffocated by the weight of his job. The house was shrouded in an unsettling quiet, but the whispers from above shattered the calm. Tyler sat alone in his room, the silence pressing down, an unsettling weight in the air. Shadows flickered ominously on the walls, thickening the tension that hung in the air. At first, it felt like a whisper in the dark. A moment hangs heavy, a young man lost in the darkness of his thoughts. Yet, a deep yearning for coffee tugged at him. A single moment, a brief glance, everything hangs in the balance. Each step up the stairs sent shivers down my spine, the echoes intensifying, drawing me further into the abyss. What lurked in the darkness? Ready to pounce. My heart pounded, dread coiling tightly in my gut. As I neared his room, the door creaked open slightly, a haunting beckoning into the abyss. I gasped, poised to call out to him, but my eyes were drawn to Tyler. He perched on the edge of his bed, the laptop casting an unsettling light on his face, shadows swirling ominously around him. His hands shook, and for an instant, I thought he was entranced by a dangerous secret. Is it a heart-pounding chase? A race against time? With every step, a cold dread seized me, stealing the warmth from my cheeks. In that fleeting moment, the world shifted, and clarity pierced the chaos. A chilling realization washed over me. I finally grasped Tyler's true intentions. A flicker on the screen captured my attention, sending a shiver through my heart. Came out of nowhere. I never wanted this moment to arrive. Tyler's heart pounded in his chest as he fumbled, frantically lowering the volume on his laptop, panic seizing him. But the moment had slipped away. The moment slipped away, shadows lingering of what might have been. Our eyes met, a silent storm brewing between us. His face burned crimson, shame etched deep in his gaze. I'm sorry, he gasped, his eyes falling, the gravity of his confession thickening the silence. I was frozen, heart pounding, breath trapped in my chest. I'm at the precipice, pulse pounding, air trapped within me. The shadows creep in, murmuring dark secrets of the unknown that awaits. Each heartbeat lingers, thick with tension. Will I jump into the unknown, or will dread keep me anchored in place? Time teeters on the edge, and the weight of the decision crushes me. Hold on. The door creaked ominously, a whisper of uncertainty hanging in the air. I started, engulfed in a haze of doubt, as words escaped me like grains of sand. A chilling warmth wrapped around me, sparking a blaze of doubt deep inside. Embarrassment crashed over me like a wave, while my thoughts twisted and darted, just out of reach. I burst from the room, heart pounding, each thud reverberating in the stillness. My hands clutched my face, breath escaping me in frantic gasps. What was that? Tyler had turned 23, a number that loomed heavy with unvoiced significance. He had stepped into the shadows of adulthood. At 47, I was a woman shackled by shame, every heartbeat echoing the ghosts of my past. In that instant, I stood frozen, the crushing shame wrapping around me like a shroud. Frozen in the shadowy corridor, my heart raced, echoing the silence around me. I raked my fingers through my hair, a frantic search for calm amidst the chaos. Tyler lingered at the doorway, his collar quivering beneath his fingers, throat constricted with unsaid confessions, eyes averted, concealing the tempest brewing inside. Emily, I can't breathe. The weight of my words hangs heavy in the air, a storm brewing between us. What if this is the moment everything changes? My heart races, each beat echoing the fear of what's to come. Air slips away, panic grips tight. This can't be real. I believed I had shut the door, he whispered, doubt creeping into his voice, but a spark of truth burned in his gaze. I averted my eyes, my heart pounding, yearning to flee from the intensity of the moment. Freeze. Just, please. No. I must confess. I owe you an apology. After all those years under the same roof, our eyes locked for the first time, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and terrifying. The air was thick with unspoken tension, a moment that ignited everything between us. My voice trembled, a delicate strand barely keeping my sanity intact amidst the raging tempest of feelings. Tyler stood frozen, the silence thick with the burden of words that could shatter everything. His eyes pierced through me, a silent enigma brewing within, every heartbeat heavy with anticipation. Before everything shattered between Tyler and me, hold on tight, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with me until the haunting end of this story. I promise the tension is on the brink of shattering. That evening, silence loomed between us, thick and stifling. Silence looms, a vast abyss separating our souls. Silence hung heavy, a chasm between them. No words, no glances, only the weight of unspoken despair. In that silence, a chilling truth hung heavy. Nothing would ever be the same again. At dinner, we sat across from each other, the air thick with unspoken tension, our eyes locked in a silent battle, refusing to connect. The silverware clinked, a chilling sound slicing through the heavy silence that surrounded us. We had to face it. The silence was a heavy weight, tightening around us, and we both sensed it drawing nearer. But how could this happen? Night descended, dawn shattered the silence, only for darkness to creep back in, suffocating hope. Everything seemed normal, but hidden in the shadows, turmoil simmered. The silence deepened, an invisible hand clenching tighter around our throats. And then, on that fateful afternoon, Tyler sat down beside me and everything changed. His eyes flickered with doubt, a silent confession. Beneath it all, a desperate yearning to repair the shattered pieces pulsed fiercely within him. Emily, the events of that day linger in my mind, a shadow that won't fade. The weight of humiliation clings to me, suffocating and relentless. This was never how it was supposed to be. I smiled, a brief flicker, and whispered, "Oh, Tyler, you have no idea. I've endured my share of humiliations." In that moment, I laid bare pieces of my soul before him. His smile wavered, a brief glimpse of vulnerability flashing across his face as he nodded, the burden of embarrassment lightening ever so slightly. In that brief moment, the burden of our unsaid words lingered, poised to break the stillness. In the depths of my heart, the truth waited, heavy and haunting. Time froze, a heartbeat away from chaos. Hope flickered, just a breath away. When this conversation crashed through the delicate barrier we had clung to, a shiver coursed through me. I sensed we were teetering on the edge of an unimaginable storm. Tyler's laughter hung in the air, a ghostly echo, as his gaze fell to the table, uncertainty dancing in the heavy silence. In a heartbeat, his expression twisted, a spark of terror igniting as the gravity of his words bore down on him. He rubbed the back of his neck, tension crackling around him, a moment of hesitation suspended in the silence. But he was already moving, the air thick with tension. Cornered by circumstances, he took a deep breath and pressed on. He gasped, eyes wandering into the unknown. "I've seen you," he whispered, his voice trembling, the tension thick between them. "It begins anew, an inescapable cycle of fate. Did you really think you knew? The truth lurked just beyond your grasp." Electricity coursed through my veins, igniting every nerve, every thought, every breath, leaving me breathless and on edge, alive, but teetering on the brink of the unimaginable. Time froze, a heartbeat suspended in the air. "What is going on?" I whispered, his words pressing down like a heavy shroud, choking the breath from my lungs. Tyler's face flushed with fire, yet he forged ahead, resolve carved into every crease of his expression. I buried it deep, consumed by the weight of my secrets. It haunted the dark corners of my thoughts. A secret, heavy and suffocating, clung to me, sending shivers through my very core. A thought that tormented me, never letting go. My heart raced, a frantic drum echoing in the stillness. A chilling warmth wrapped around me, an unsettling whisper that everything had changed. Tyler's voice shattered the stillness, compelling me to face the truth that lay between us. My eyes were fixed on him, heart racing. His gaze cut through the stillness, gripping mine with a force that sent chills racing down my spine. The air crackled with unspoken truths, a heavy tension binding us in silence. The air thickened, a suffocating tension wrapping around them as everything shifted in a heartbeat. That day ignited a transformation that could never be undone. Once, a chasm gaped between us, deep and unforgiving, the hidden chasm that ripped us apart. Yet now that boundary had vanished into the void. Little did I know, I was being pulled further into the tangled web of moments with Tyler. Moments slip away, whispers echo in the darkness. Yet, with each passing moment, the chasm between us grew wider, pulling us further apart. We sat in silence, the flickering screen casting eerie shadows, trapped in a world that felt achingly near yet hauntingly far away. Once we stood apart, but now, the air crackles with unspoken tension. The air hums, thick with unvoiced dread. The air crackled between us, a tension that altered everything we thought we knew. A silent truth hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. We sat in silence, the air thick with unvoiced fears and lingering doubts. Our laughter intertwined, but a tempest raged beneath the surface. I struggled to banish it from my thoughts. One night, sleep slipped through my fingers. The sheets coiled like serpents, tightening their grip as I battled the shadows of the restless night. An unease churned inside him, restless and relentless. A single thought devoured my mind. Tyler. The silence hangs heavy, a breath caught in the throat. What comes next? The weight of unspoken words lingers, a storm brewing just beneath the surface. Time stands still, heart racing, as the truth teeters on the edge of revelation. The name reverberates in the stillness, laden with secrets that tremble in the air. It was time to confront the inevitable. I had to take a stand. I had no choice but to face him. I had to take control before everything spiraled out of reach. The thought sliced through the stillness, launching me from the bed. My heart pounded fiercely, but my feet, traitorous and unyielding, carried me directly to Tyler's door. The door creaked open, a sliver of dim light cutting through the darkness, whispering of secrets waiting to be uncovered. As I stepped inside, he stood there, poised and waiting. He lay there, ensnared in the shadows of sleep. In that fleeting moment, my eyes wandered away. A different power held them in its grip. A presence lingered in the darkness, tense and alive, ready to pounce. The air grew heavy, each heartbeat resonating like a countdown to the unknown. What comes next? The air thickens with uncertainty, a heartbeat away from revelation. The silence demanded answers, echoing with tension. Colossal, my breath caught in my throat. My body froze, ensnared in a heartbeat of dread. His presence sparked a storm inside me. It was a moment that caught me off guard, yet I found myself unable to turn away. But I hesitated. I stood paralyzed, caught in the tempest of emotions raging inside me. In a heartbeat, I pulled back. A tempest raged inside, fierce and unyielding, but I stifled it, opting for the shadows of silence instead of the light of truth. I entered my room, fell onto the bed, and felt the weight of a world transformed. What I didn't realize was that night would unravel into a storm of chaos. I wrestled with my emotions, yet something about Tyler held my thoughts captive. As the days vanished, reality and illusion blurred into a haunting void. The air crackled with tension, an invisible thread pulling us together, impossible to resist. It struck like lightning. The instant chaos consumed my world. But I sensed it, a chilling truth coursing through my veins. There was no turning back now. Tyler stepped through the door, a shadow of his former self. He stumbled, engulfed in a fog of confusion. The door creaked, a harbinger of chaos. Objects fell, each crash a whisper of danger that could awaken Ethan from his deep, vulnerable sleep. Yet, I felt the weight of Ethan's haunting struggle with each dawn. I bolted from my room, heart racing, desperate to reach Tyler. In an instant, I found myself beside him, my clothes in disarray, the air heavy with unspoken dread. Tyler's gaze wandered, a fleeting smile haunting his lips. "Emily, are you really here?" His words trembled on the edge of silence. His words, heavy with drink, quivered with a chilling truth. "This isn't how it ends. Don't even think about going up there. In the stillness we find our strength." Tyler's gaze bore into me, relentless and unforgiving. His smile was soft, yet his eyes bore a heavy secret that chilled me to the core. "Your beauty captivates, a haunting presence that lingers in the shadows. Have you ever been anything else? Had it been lurking all along, concealed in the open?" For a heartbeat, I was frozen in place, but then I drew on every last bit of strength to pull myself together. "Tyler, no, this must stop immediately. Enter the kitchen, where shadows linger and secrets simmer. Something is coming, and it's not what you expect." I led him into the kitchen, every step thick with unvoiced dread. I struggled to pull him back to reality, but Tyler's intense gaze and his chilling words tugged at my very core, threatening to tear me apart. Tyler collapsed into the chair, the air thick with unspoken words as I fumbled with the coffee. In a heartbeat, the cup slipped from his fingers, shattering the stillness as its contents cascaded across the counter. "Tyler, you have to be more careful," I whispered urgently, fear gripping me as I rushed to conceal the turmoil. Tyler's smile hung in the air, a ghostly echo in the stillness. "Have you always held such fragility?" With my heart pounding, I scrambled to clean the kitchen, the shadows creeping ever nearer. We had to go, the gravity of the moment suffocating us. Ethan lay upstairs, the silence suffocating, a weight he couldn't escape. In Tyler's fragile state, each sound pierced the silence like a knife, a betrayal lurking in the shadows, a danger too immense to ignore. "Here we go, ascending into the unknown. But be quiet," I hissed, my voice a fragile thread as I wrapped my arm around his, dragging him toward the stairs. As we stepped into his room, every movement quaked with doubt. He needed to change, yet the crushing weight of despair bound him, leaving him frozen in his own skin. In that fleeting moment, I wavered, caught in the grip of fear and the pull of instinct. But then I saw him, desperate, struggling against the fabric. In a heartbeat, I dashed to him, driven by an urgent need to save. My fingers lingered above the buttons of his shirt, and Tyler's breath caught, then faded into silence. In that moment, the air was thick with unvoiced dread. The silence thickened, wrapping around them like a shroud. In that instant, clarity clashed with confusion, a tempest of certainty and doubt raging within me. Tyler's gaze bore into me, laden with secrets that hung in the air, thick and suffocating. In that moment, the world tilted, an unchangeable decision, a chilling memory carved into the soul. Tyler halted, the fabric slipping away, a tempest of doubt raging inside him. His hands fell, and our eyes locked, a tempest of unspoken tension swirling around us. In that instant, my breath caught, a frantic pulse in the stillness. The silence pressed down, each breath a desperate fight against the heavy stillness. "I'm done with this game, Emily," he said, his voice quaking with a tension that electrified the silence. My gaze pierced through him, unwavering and fierce. My heart pounded, each beat reverberating through the stillness. But what was Tyler truly hiding? "Are you really?" he added, his voice heavy with unease. "Is that truly everything? One brief heartbeat, and then silence? Do you truly never ponder it? It stalks you, a chilling presence in the depths of your mind as you slip into the abyss." A shiver shot through me, compelling me to pull back, but my feet were rooted, unwilling to budge. "Tyler, this can't be real," I breathed, my voice trembling with dread. Tyler's smile faltered, a dark secret simmering just out of sight. "We stepped into the shadows of morality long ago, Emily. Confront the darkness that lies deep inside." He stepped forward, pulse pounding in his ears. And yet another one falls. His breath grazed my skin. A chilling whisper of peril, tantalizingly close, almost palpable. His fingers grazed my cheek, a brief caress that ignited a storm of shivers within me. My eyes were locked, ensnared in a moment I longed to flee. Deep within me, a haunting realization surged. He was right. In that brief instant, Tyler's lips met mine, unleashing a tempest of feelings that threatened to consume me. The silence suffocates, a weight that crushes the air. All doubts vanish, leaving only chilling echoes in their wake. Because I had surrendered to Tyler. Yet, beneath the surface, my heart had never longed for it. My hands trembled uncontrollably, but I stood frozen, trapped in a moment I couldn't flee. In Tyler's gaze, a fierce resolve ignited, and I understood that all secrets hung in the balance. My heart pounded in my chest as I fought to breathe, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. My hands shook as the straps of my clothing fell away, revealing the weight of my fear. "You're right, Tyler, but what will it take?" I whispered, my voice trembling in the suffocating shadows. "The curtain falls. This masquerade must end now." As the void consumed everything, I collapsed onto the bed, my heart pounding wildly. My heart pounded, a relentless beat shattering the stillness. Turning back was a distant memory, a privilege forever out of reach. Tyler's shadow crept nearer, each heartbeat echoing in the stillness. His gaze pierced through me, a fleeting moment stretching into an agonizing eternity. Suddenly, a smile pierced the heavy silence. "Do not tremble," he spoke, his voice a spark of warmth in the suffocating silence. "Everything appears flawless." I shifted my eyes, a shiver racing down my spine. The truth loomed, heavy and unyielding, as I wrestled with the agony of my unending weight. This moment held the weight of the world. But the words slipped away, uninvited, like a ghostly murmur in the shadows. "Tyler." A chill seizes me, I whispered, my breath caught in my throat. A few monumental events changed everything. "Tyler." A chill runs through me, I whispered, my breath caught in my throat. A series of earth-shattering events unfolded. Tyler's smile sliced through the silence, a facade concealing the storm within, as he dismissed my words with a flick of his hand, leaving a chilling tension in the air. Maybe it was the drink that blurred his clarity. Tyler's breath was a ghostly whisper against my ear, urgent and fraught. "Ethan mustn't wake up." The gravity of his words hung heavy, the silence around us thick with dread. How can I even begin? A fierce energy roared inside, on the brink of explosion. I pressed my lips together, battling the desperate need to cry out. Tyler's eyes bore into mine, his voice a haunting whisper. "I know. Emily, everything teeters on the edge, and so do you." What dark truths lay hidden within him? He looked deep into my soul, as if he could unravel my very essence. In that instant, I gave in, clenching my eyes shut against the turmoil that engulfed me. My hands clutched the sheets, shaking violently as terror coursed through me. I clamped my hands over my mouth, fighting the desperate need to cry out. Tyler staggered into the darkness, disoriented, unaware of the turmoil closing in around him. It was devouring me, ripping apart my soul. The excitement clashed with the burden, a tension that hung in the air, and the chilling whisper of a storm on the horizon. Tyler faltered, his sight fading, every breath a battle, the darkness closing in around him. "Tyler, your face is burning. We have to go. Right this second." Tyler's voice quivered. "Okay." The tension thickened, suffocating the silence. He nodded, the weight of silence pressing down, thick and suffocating. Still, he forged ahead, relentless, boundless, unyielding, consuming. Another contraction seized her, and in that instant, the world faded away. I was lost, a ghost haunting my own body. I closed my eyes, yielding to the weight of the moment. "Anything you desire, Tyler?" I breathed, my heart pounding in my chest. "Everything you crave hangs in the balance." Tyler gave in entirely, engulfed by the moment, as if everything else had dissolved into nothingness. He let go, plunging into the abyss, and that was it, all that remained. The blaze inside me surged, devouring all that stood before it. I rushed to lay Tyler in his bed, wrapping him in the covers with urgency. As I twisted the key in his bedroom door, the darkness swallowed everything whole. In the stillness, I yearned for a fleeting escape, the water rushing down, desperate to cleanse the burdens that suffocated me. My heart pounded, fear tightening its hold as I teetered on the brink of the abyss. What just happened? In the shower, thoughts churned like dark storm clouds, each one pressing down, suffocating. A suffocating weight pressed against my heart, an ominous feeling slithering closer. Yet, as I broke free, a sharp clarity sliced through the haze of my mind. In an unexpected moment, a chilling calm enveloped me. Anger danced just out of reach, a fleeting shadow that vanished like sand through my grasp. My body was a tranquil sea, yet beneath the surface, a storm brewed in my mind. I dressed in silence, my heart pounding. I approached the bed, slipping into sleep, feigning ignorance of what had just unfolded. Yet, beneath it all, a fleeting thrill pulsed, a wild longing ready to set the world ablaze. Yet, the facade of simplicity masked a deeper torment. What if this changes everything? This was teetering on the edge of chaos. The shadows thickened. It was unthinkable. A momentous event erupted. Everything spirals out of control. In the end, Ethan would reveal everything. The end looms, shrouded in darkness. Stay close, or risk losing everything. What happens next will leave you breathless. Sound the alarms and reveal your secrets. It grips you tightly, poised for the shocking turns that await. Your support means everything to me. Without it, I am adrift in darkness. Your presence has meant everything. Thank you for not leaving my side.